some Gen Z workers are taking unpaid leave when they haven't accrued vacation time and calling it a micro-retirement. That's just unpaid leave. That's not even, I mean, you're just... There was this article that came out last week from Fast Company, which is a business magazine, and so they do like business trends. And the article is titled, "What is a micro retirement inside the latest Gen Z trend?" And so I could not believe this when I read it, because the article said, and the first version of the article, and they changed it after some of the blowback, which was very funny. But the first version of the blowback of the article said, while retirement typically occurs after completing a career and saving and investing for it, a new trend is emerging among Gen Z career professionals called micro retirement. Micro retirements involve taking a 1 to 2 week break from work every 12 to 18 months.
Is that what we're calling Christmas break now? That's funny. That's funny.
Gen Z is using micro retirements to avoid burnout, find greater fulfillment in their work, and enhance their overall well-being. And so, yeah. Now, when I first heard the word micro-retirement, I thought they were talking about like a sabbatical. Right?
That's what came to mind.
That's what came to mind. And I've had that thought too, because like you know, I really want to retire early because I don't want to retire in such a state that my body is so decrepit and I can't do anything. I can't do anything that I want to do. And I've thought about how really unfair it is that we have to sacrifice at the altar of capital basically all of the best portions of our life. And then when we can no longer do anything and we are of negligible benefit to capital, then we are let free and we can, we can have free time.
You can have all that free time to draw down your savings and
and go to the hospital and go to doctor's appointments and stuff. And so like I've been like, man, I really wish instead of maybe retiring at 60 or 65, maybe I can retire at 70. Maybe I could retire at 70, but every like 5 years take a year off of work or 6 months off of work or something. I think that would be to maybe go to school or to maybe learn something new or to live in a new part of the country and try something, just try a different trade or something like that. Just have 6 months to a year on a 5 to 7 year basis where I can kind of do whatever I want while my body is still young and I can do things, right? And so that's what I kind of thought. And so when I read this, I just almost melted in my seat because a 1 to 2 week break is a bad PTO policy. Like if you only get a 1 to 2 weeks, 5 to 10 business days off every 12 to 18 months, your employer is exploiting you. Like that's not a micro retirement. That's just enough to kind of, that's so crazy that there are people that are calling a 1 to 2 week break a quote unquote micro retirement. You deserve so much more than that. And so they changed it. And at the bottom of the article, they say, we've updated this article to more clearly define micro retirement. Oh. And it's like actually even worse. And so, I thought when I read this, right, when I read the first article, micro retirements involve taking a 1 to 2 week break from work every 12 to 18 months. I thought that was just a rebrand of vacation policy. But no, it's even worse than that. Okay? So
Do they just quit their job every 12 to 18 months?
Yes. Yes. Basically, some Gen Z workers are taking unpaid leave when they haven't accrued vacation time and calling it a micro-retirement. That's just unpaid leave. That's not even, I mean, you're just... That's so crazy. And so is
that real? Like, is this one of those things they say is a trend?
Yeah,
because
I wonder about that.
It? Like,
so they say that micro-retirement can look like quitting a job and then finding a new job when you're ready to work again. That's like what everybody does when they quit a job or lose a job. Is you find a job when you're ready to work. I mean, that's just like, that's normal. Setting up a plan with your employer that allows you to take unpaid frequent work breaks. Now, that's a little bit different maybe than a 1 to 2 week break every 12 to 18 months. Or maybe these, business freaks think that a 1 week break every 12 to 18 months is frequent. I don't know. I mean, you never know with these people. And then taking breaks from your business if you're a business owner, which business owners have always done.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
So, I don't know. This is crazy. It's bonkers, and a lot of the union accounts. A lot of the union accounts on Twitter were like retweeting this article and saying, you don't need a micro-retirement, you need a union contract. You need to unionize and get paid leave. Paid sabbaticals. Or paid sabbaticals. Yeah, I mean, I do know some companies that give you paid sabbaticals.
I do too. I helped negotiate it in a contract. It's great.
Oh yeah, do y'all have a sabbatical in your contract now?
Yes.
Oh hell yeah, that's so.
Yes,
that's so
cool. And to their credit, it was something that was already established at the company beforehand, and we just kind of formalized it and worked out some rules around it. But it's a really cool benefit, and it's something that folks should really look into.
And so, what is your sabbatical policy specifically? Is it like 6 months every 6 years or something like that?
I'd have to reread that. I think it's every 7 years. It's on the every 7 years.
Okay.
And I don't remember exactly how long the length of it is. But yeah, it's something that I know academics can sometimes experience, like tenured professors, but it's a benefit that I think unions should really consider fighting for in other spaces, because it could be the key to like long-term retention of an employee. Like maybe a sabbatical is what that person needs to give you 10 more years, like 10 more good years, right?
I am a hell of a lot more likely to work at a company for 7 years if I get a sabbatical out of it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And, and here's something that I will say about the union accounts, like quote tweeting this and saying you need a union contract. Unions today are not nearly focused enough on time off of work. There is, and so there are even many union contracts where that's not actually going to address the problem, because there are a lot of people who work for unions that are just as overworked as people who don't work in unions. They're just paid better. Right. I mean, I know, thinking about, Kim Kelly's going to be on the program here soon, and she reports a lot about coal miners. A lot of coal miners in Alabama work like 6-7 days a week, 10-12 hours a day, and they get very, very little time off. And so, that union contract isn't going to actually address the problem. And so there needs to be and there's also, there's part of it that's coming from the members too. Like the members are not valuing, I think, and I guess it's, it's up to the members if they don't, they would rather have more money and they would rather work more. But it's just such a devaluing of our time and the human experience, I think, that our society has pushed on us, that even among so many unions, the focus is always on wages, and it's never on winning freedom from the workplace. Like we have, the average American works longer hours now than we used to. We work hundreds of hours longer than our peers in European countries. And I don't think, there are very, very few people who live in European countries who would want to take the work schedule of an American. And so, yeah, we really just do not value our time and freedom from work enough. And so that is something that even as I see, unions quote tweeting this saying you need a union contract, a lot of union contracts wouldn't address that problem. Like, you would get paid more, but they don't address that problem, and they really, really, really should. That's what the labor movement was founded on, was the fight for the 8-hour day, which was about fundamentally freedom from work. We want time away from the workplace.
Right, absolutely. And I'll just say real quick before we move on that in my context, it was in a small nonprofit where realistically, like, where could we make a lot of improvements? And it probably wasn't going to come in some of the direct economics of salaries, right? I mean, so what we could look at, though, and so it did kind of force us to have that emphasis that you're describing of really looking at, well, if we can't just pay you $1 million, what other things could we do, right? That would make your life better and would make you ultimately a better worker. And so, I really encourage unions to think about that. I appreciated the emphasis in the Big Three strike about the 32-hour work week. I think that was important and, helped get that back in the conversation, and we need to keep it in the conversation because we have to reduce the amount of working hours per week. We have to increase the amount of paid time off that people have, period.
Yeah. So what's the verdict on the micro-retirement trend?
I didn't know I was taking a micro-retirement every Christmas holiday, but that's pretty cool. I am convinced it is not a trend. I'm convinced that no actual real life people have ever called a 1 to 2 week break a micro retirement.
There you go.
I think this is internet invented by business writers.
All right, shots fired, business people at Fast Company.
Show me your evidence. Yeah. Like, if you have real people who are Gen Z who use this phrase to describe the phenomena you're describing, I'm all ears. Love to hear it.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.